Thank you all. First of all, thank you, Maria Bartiromo, for being our host tonight. My fellow honorees, it's a privilege to share this weekend with you, because obviously this is a highlight for me and a time that I will always cherish. Thank you also to the Columbus Citizens Foundation and the entire team who has made me feel so welcome, especially to Lisa Ackerman for everything that you've done. We've been talking about this for a year, so thank you, Lisa, so much. I've got to say, being part of this weekend is such an honor. I mean, honestly, let's just take a moment. How lucky are we, the two greatest countries in the world, and we can lay claim to both of them. Right? I proudly became an Italian citizen last year, and so I now hold dual citizenship. And that moment when that actually happened, I worked on it for a couple of years, like any of you who have gone through that process know it takes a while. And I remember the day that I found out that I got my Italian citizenship, let alone then when I had my Italian passport. I thought how proud my great-grandparents would be to know that their journey, which they made because of opportunity, like most of us share, that we would be in a place where we wanted to reaffirm those ties, that the country that they left is in such a place that we also want to go back. And I think that was probably the ultimate goal that they probably couldn't have even imagined. So I'm certainly grateful for that. I will say, if my parents were here today, they would be over the moon. But let's be clear, my dad couldn't have handled this because, like most Italian fathers, he would be so beaming with pride, he probably would have exploded. And he wouldn't, I honestly think he would just be beside himself and pinching himself the whole weekend. So I know that they're watching from above, and I know that I will be thinking of them all day on the parade day on Monday. I do want to thank a few people. I want to thank my partner, Ron Fiamma, who's here with me, and my family who has joined. And it's really special to just be able to, I've had a very dynamic career. So these moments that are very, unique and special and stick out, it's just wonderful to be able to share them with you. So I have been very fortunate to have a dynamic professional career, and it wasn't lost on me, right? So I was the first motorsport director. I was the first director of a performance division, global performance division of a car company, Fiat Chrysler. And with that job came running all of racing. And in fairness, like most women, I did not know that I was the first woman until somebody else pointed it out, because I was just busy doing my job. Right? And okay, certainly I can also cut to the chase. Why cars? Why racing? I allude to it in the vignette alludes to it, but like most young girls, I started reading car magazines when I was 5. And so the fact that I eventually found my way to automotive and racing, anyone that's known me my whole life, my family, none of them were surprised. It was a bit of a circuitous route to get there, but it certainly all makes sense when I look back. But I found myself in this situation, and the reality is, I would say that, like most of us, we keep talking about family, and there's a reason why we all say that, right? Because all of us who've grown up as Italian Americans, our family is the core of what we do. It sets us on our foundation. We probably have very similar shared experiences, and that foundation is kind of what then allows us to then, move forward. But the reality is, we all know that everywhere, wherever we are today, was the result of hard work and dedication, but also some luck, some fortune, and some people helping us along the way. So because I had this dynamic career, I wanted to do more with it. And I saw that there was an opportunity. And I decided I wanted to try to encourage women to value education. So again, being that first woman in that role, I realized that there weren't many of us, but there was room for a lot more. And I tied, the connection was, I'm doing something that's dynamic. I can think of what inspired me as a kid. What if I start to lift the veil on what we're doing every day in and day out, something like racing on this huge stage? How can I reach kids? And how can I specifically talk to young women And what if there was somebody that could have talked to me when I was the 5-year-old or 10-year-old? And so that's what I decided to do by resigning from my cushy job at Fiat Chrysler and starting my own race team, which literally makes no sense on paper. I'm fully aware of that. But there was a bigger message at play, and there was something that was driving me, and that was to try to encourage women to value education and pursue non-traditional careers. And ideally, by tying education to career path, it would allow women to be financially independent. And that then gives them the agency to choose their own adventure and to figure out, and they can kind of, write their own story. So, in order to do that, I decided to create a team that was going to be in the Indy 500, as you do, which is, for the record, is still the largest single-day sporting event in the world. So there are 350,000 people that attend the Indy 500. It's always the last Sunday in May, and it's also watched globally. So I hired women. My idea was to have a team of majority women. It had never happened before. The Indy 500 started in 1911. And so my venture, I started this in the late 2020 to run in 2021, so 110 years from the first race. There have been a few women drivers, but there had never been a team of women. And that's what I set out to do. In a short amount of time, and we hired women, and we trained them up, and we taught them how to change tires in a pit stop. For the record, an IndyCar pit stop is 6.2 seconds, and you have to change 4 tires and fuel the car. And we hired women in February, and they were changing tires by the end of May in 6 seconds. And not everybody was completely untrained. My driver is actually a Swiss-Italian woman. She's the best woman driver in the world. Her name is Simona De Silvestro. She's racing this weekend in Australia, otherwise she'd be here with us. But I will say that the beautiful thing about what we're trying to do is, as I like to say, you can't fake it. We can either be racing against the guys and beat the stopwatch, or we can't. And what it ultimately proves is that with hard work and dedication and training, people are capable of doing great things, working together, working hard. And it's a big stage and a big show, but it's really just for that 10-year-old in the stands or 5-year-old me, and you can kind of then visualize what's possible. And so I will say that's one of the things that resonated with me with the Columbus Citizens Foundation, the work that you do with scholarships, how you reach the youth. Because I wouldn't be here if people didn't help me along the way. And what greater gift than to be in a position where you can then pull somebody up the ladder. That's what it's all about. So thank you all. I appreciate it. And I'm so grateful to be here. Thank you.